Hello, guys. Once again, we are gathered here in the church for our Tuesday's Hugot with Stevie. Now, tonight's gospel talks about Jesus and his disciples going into Capernaum. But what happened was the disciples left Jesus because Jesus was praying in the mountain. So they left, they went ahead of Jesus and they're going to Capernaum. So what happened while they were already somewhere in the middle of the sea, okay, there was a storm. And whenever we encounter a storm in the sea, it was different from having a storm by land. So it's very amazing that these disciples, who were really fishermen, they got terrified. They were afraid and they panicked because of the storm that met them in the middle of the sea. But then here comes Jesus walking in the water. And how this particular disciples, they could not recognize probably Jesus, they also become afraid. So imagine they're afraid of the storm, they're afraid of Jesus, but then here comes Jesus telling them, "It is I, do not be afraid." What an assurance that we have in Christ Jesus. It's just enough for us to recognize that here is Jesus. If there is Jesus, there's no reason for us to be afraid. Christ said, "It is I, do not be afraid." And how? According to the scriptures, the boat immediately, reached the place where there should be preaching. But more than that, I would like to focus on our hugot for tonight. What? We are not to be afraid. You see, the message is so timely. Once again, after a year of having pandemic, tomorrow we'll be celebrating already a year of the lockdown because on March 17, 2020, our president declared lockdown all over Luzon, ECQ all over Luzon, and panic gripped the people. Okay? Still remember how there was this panic buying, all alcohol gone, all toilet paper gone, and all those essentials gone because people panic. And you could see the traffic and the mass of people trying to go home before the lockdown. And that was a year ago. But see how God has already sustained us for the past 1 year. And somehow we are able to sort of relax. In fact, there are people already live as if there's no more COVID-19, that they were no longer wearing masks or face shield. Children are out in the streets and all those being relaxed. Okay? But that's not the point. The point is, okay, there's COVID-19, there's pandemic, but we are not to be afraid because Christ said so. Christ said, "Do not be afraid, it is I." And that was his message to his disciples, and this is also his message to us. If we believe that Jesus is with us, then there's no reason for us to panic, there's no reason for us to worry, there's no reason for us to be afraid, because he has assured us that he is with us. And if Christ said, "Do not be afraid," then we are not to be afraid. Even if the cases are rising, even if the vaccines are not yet available, and all those stuff, okay, government officials becoming positive with COVID-19. Okay, I just read Secretary Roque also got COVID-19. He was tested positive, and all those things. Now, we are not to be, uh, sabihin natin, careless. Of course, we still have to be careful. Do the necessary things. Wash our hands. Avoid large crowd. Observe social distancing. Wear face mask and face shield. And all those precautions we are to continue. But in our hearts, there will be peace. Because Christ said so. He said, "Do not be afraid, so therefore I shall not be afraid." You know, I remember last year, there was already lockdown, but we had to have a mass. And I just found myself volunteering to be here in the church, considering it was lockdown already. So what I did is I talked to one of our deacons who would fetch me somewhere in Muntinlupa, but I had to walk all the way from our place all the way to Muntinlupa, cross the border, and then had my fellow deacon fetch me. But prior to that, walking towards the border is like walking the border of Germany, because there's a lot of checkpoint and soldiers were there. And funny thing is, the gospel for that particular Sunday, okay, it was Saturday that I went to the church. The gospel for the particular Sunday was, it's about Bartimaeus, the blind man, becoming, receiving sight. So what happened, as I walked through the soldiers, I prayed, "Lord, if you can cause people, blind people to see, can you cause also people who can see to be blind?" Just like, so that I could pass through. And it was a miracle that I was able to pass through. Good thing I did not panic, but I have peace just walking. Because had I panicked, the soldiers might notice me, how come I moved that way. But because I have peace, I simply walked, passed through them. I was able to reach our meeting place so that I could be fetched and brought to the church safely. How did I do that? It was God. You know, the feeling was like crossing the border in Germany. Now, after crossing the border, yes, at last, I was able to cross the border. That was the situation then, okay, because of the ECQ. But that did not stop me from celebrating Mass that Sunday. That was the first Mass after the lockdown. And I consider it a privilege and an honor to be able to do that despite the lockdown. Imagine, ECQ already, but I was able to celebrate Mass. Of course, it was the first FB Live Mass. But Father Roberto was here with me, Deacon Joel, and the three of us and the cameraman. And yun, we're able to celebrate Mass. Why? Because we were not afraid. We just help us to the fact that Jesus is with us, and Jesus told us, do not be afraid. Like tonight, I should have been staying in our home because of, again, the rising cases. But I put my trust in God that I have to do this. I have to celebrate Mass. And I will not allow fear to stop me from doing what God wanted me to do. It's fear that will cause us to be locked down, but it's faith for us to cause to rise up. So in the days ahead, if there are more cases, increase in cases, our faith will be the one to deliver us from all those fears. Of course, we continue to uphold. This is night of prayer. We uphold people who are suffering, the frontliners, okay, those affected by COVID. Okay, that's why we are here. Why we are here? Because we want to pray for them. And may God have mercy on me. May His grace be upon me to protect me and deliver me. That I will reach home safely, that I will be able to minister and reach out to people because I am healthy, I am fit, and God wills that I will serve Him despite the pandemic. It has been a year already, and God has proven His faithfulness, His goodness to all of us. So fellow kahugots, guys, okay, hugot for tonight, do not be afraid because Jesus is with us. Yun lang. God bless. Now, if you have been blessed with this video, and if you're new here, kindly hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share it to others, and be blessed. God bless and have a great day. It's always a great day because we have a great God. Bye-bye.